You're sitting at the kitchen table. You pop open that familiar little tin. The smell of the ocean fills the air. And you think to yourself, this is good for me. Omega-3s, strong bones, sharp mind. I'm doing the right thing for my longevity. You fork those shiny sardines straight into your mouth or onto a cracker, proud that at 68, 72, or 78, you're still choosing healthy food. And then, a few hours later, it starts. A quiet heaviness in your chest. Your rings feel tighter from swollen fingers. Your knees ache more than usual when you stand up from the sofa. And you lie awake at night wondering why your stomach feels like it's twisted in knots even though you ate healthy today. My friend, if that sounds painfully familiar, stay with me, because the thumbnail you clicked on, the one that says, "When you eat sardines like this, you turn them into poison," isn't clickbait. It's the honest truth most of us never hear. And the title you're watching right now, Seniors Take Action, 11 Overlooked Sardine Flaws Crushing Your Longevity Goals, is the wake-up call so many of us needed after years of thinking we were helping our hearts and brains when we were quietly doing the opposite. Have you ever finished a whole can feeling good about yourself, only to wake up the next morning with puffy eyes, foggy thinking, or joints that hurt twice as much, wondering what on earth went wrong, even though sardines are supposed to be one of the best foods we can eat after 65? You're not imagining it, and it's not just getting older. There are 11 simple, everyday mistakes, tiny habits hiding in plain sight that turn this little superfood into something that slowly robs energy, raises blood pressure, and quietly adds inflammation to already tired bodies. And the crazy part? Most of these mistakes come from the way the sardines are packed, stored, and eaten, not from the fish themselves. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through every single one, gently and honestly, because you deserve to know exactly how to keep enjoying sardines without paying for it later with your comfort and your freedom. If what I'm sharing already feels like it's speaking straight to your life, please tap that like button and subscribe to Health After 60 so you never miss the tips that actually move the needle. Because the first flaw so many of us make is the very first thing we see when we open the tin. And once you hear what's really in that oil, you'll never look at a can the same way again. Let's talk about the very first thing your eyes land on when you peel back that lid, the oil those little fish are swimming in. You see that golden liquid and you think, oh, they're packed in olive oil. That's even better for my heart. But here's what hardly anyone tells you after 65. More than 8 out of 10 cans on supermarket shelves, even the famous brands, are not in olive oil at all. Turn the tin around and squint at the tiny writing. Sunflower oil, soybean oil, vegetable oil blend. Those cheap oils sound harmless, but the moment they hit the heat of the canning process, they turn rancid and loaded with omega-6 fats that quietly inflame every joint and artery in your body. By the time you swallow your first bite, you've just poured a spoonful of inflammation straight into your bloodstream. And that's why your knees feel stiffer the next morning and your blood pressure creeps up even though you thought you picked the healthy can. And it gets worse, because those same oils are used over and over again in factories to keep costs low. So you're not just getting oxidized oil, you're getting oil that's been heated and reused until it's practically silently damaging your cells before you even open the tin. Now stay with me, because the second flaw hiding in plain sight is the salt. One small can looks innocent enough, but most brands pack in 300, 400, even 500 milligrams of sodium in a single serving. And most of us eat the whole can in one go. That's like sitting down and licking a salt shaker while telling yourself it's good for your bones. Overnight, your fingers swell, your ankles puff up, and your heart has to work harder just to keep the blood moving.
I've heard from so many friends over 70 who cut sardines out completely because of the swelling, never realizing it wasn't the fish, It was the salt bomb they were swallowing without a second thought. These first two mistakes alone are enough to turn a beautiful food into something that hurts more than it helps. But when you learn how to spot the safe cans and the simple rinse trick that washes away most of that trouble, everything changes. And the next thing most people never notice is what's hiding in the skin itself. Now, let's look at the part most of us never even think about: the skin. Those soft, silvery skins wrapped around every sardine look so natural, and they are packed with extra omega-3s and collagen that can help our joints and keep our skin from getting thinner as the years go by. But here's where everything flips upside down. When the sardines come from waters that aren't clean, or when the factory smokes them to give that strong flavor so many of us love, those same skins turn into tiny sponges that soak up heavy metals like mercury, lead, and cadmium. One study quietly showed that smoked sardines can hold 3 to 5 times more heavy metals right in the skin than the flesh alone. So when you eat them skin on, thinking you're doing something wonderful for your brain, you might actually be dropping little bits of metal that build up over months and years and make your memory feel slower, your hands tremble a little more, and your energy fade without any warning. I've had friends in their late 70s who loved smoked sardines on toast every morning and then wondered why they started feeling confused in the afternoons. It wasn't age catching up as fast as they thought. And the fourth flaw sneaks in with that smoky taste itself. Smoking sounds traditional and healthy, but most commercial smoked sardines are liquid smoked with chemicals that leave behind compounds linked to higher inflammation and even stomach irritation. That rich taste we enjoy can quietly irritate the lining of your gut, especially when digestion isn't as strong as it used to be after 65. You feel it as heartburn that creeps in later in the evening, or a bloated feeling that keeps you from sleeping peacefully. The good news is you don't have to give up the skin or the flavor. You just have to know which 2 little words to look for on the label that tell you the water was clean and no smoke ever touched them. Choose those cans, and the skin becomes one of the best gifts you can give your body, instead of a hidden worry. But wait until you hear what happens when you pick the pretty ones packed in tomato sauce. Most of us think we're adding a vegetable serving when we're really pouring something far worse straight over the fish. You spot the can that says "Sardines in tomato sauce," and your eyes light up. A little fish plus a vegetable, almost like a complete meal in a tin, right? That bright red sauce looks so fresh and harmless. But here's what happens the moment you tip it into your bowl. Most of those pretty tomato sauces are loaded with added sugar, sometimes 2 or 3 teaspoons in one small can, and citric acid sharp enough to irritate a stomach that's already a bit sensitive after 65. That hidden sugar sends your blood glucose on a ride you don't feel right away. But 2 or 3 hours later, you're sleepy in the chair, your legs feel heavy, and your body quietly stores a tiny bit more fat around the middle. Exactly the opposite of what you were hoping for when you chose sardines to stay strong and slim. Friends of mine in their late 70s used to keep 6 or 7 of those tomato sauce cans in the cupboard for quick lunches, and they couldn't understand why their afternoon energy crashed and their blood sugar readings kept creeping higher even though they ate fish. Switch to the plain water-packed or proper olive oil versions, and that problem disappears almost overnight. Now, the 6th mistake hurts my heart because it wipes out the very reason we love sardines in the first place: those precious omega-3 fats. Almost everybody, me included for years, would drain the can and then heat the sardines. Maybe warm them in a pan, pop them in the microwave for 20 seconds, or mix them into a hot pasta. The moment you heat them past gentle room temperature, those delicate omega-3s start to break down and oxidize. Studies show you can lose up to 70% of the EPA and DHA, which are the 2 fats that calm inflammation and keep our brains sharp, in under 2 minutes of real heat. So we're proudly eating our brain food while accidentally throwing most of the brain protection straight into the rubbish. I learned this the hard way when I noticed my joint pain was coming back even though I ate sardines almost every day. Turns out I was cooking away the magic. Keep them cool or just body temperature, and those same fats go to work easing your knees, steadying your memory, and keeping your heart rhythm calm. 2 tiny changes, no tomato sauce, no heating, and suddenly sardines start helping instead of quietly working against you. But the next flaw is one almost every single one of us makes when we reach for the cheapest tin on the shelf, and it's far more serious than sugar or heat. Here's the one that keeps me awake at night when I think about the people I care about. The price tag on the can. You walk down the aisle, spot the sardines for 99 cents or $1.29, and you think, what a bargain for all that protein and omega-3. But those rock-bottom brands, the ones stacked 20 high near the checkout, are almost always Pacific sardines pulled from waters close to busy shipping lanes and industrial areas where mercury levels run higher than the safe Atlantic or Mediterranean fish. Experts believe the cheaper the tin, the more likely the fish spent their lives swimming through water that quietly concentrated toxins right into their tiny bodies. Eat 1 or 2 cans and your body can handle it, but week after week, year after 65, those heavy metals start to build up in your brain and kidneys.
That's when the forgetfulness creeps in a little faster. The hands shake when you hold your coffee cup, and the tiredness feels heavier than it should. I've watched friends swear by the cheapest brand for a decade, then wonder why their memories started slipping when all the tests came back normal for your age. It wasn't age. It was the silent mercury drip from their daily healthy habit. And the 8th flaw is something every single one of us does without a second thought, eating them straight from the tin with a plastic fork. That sharp metal edge leaves behind the faintest trace of aluminum or tin that mixes with the oil and the acids in the fish. Over time, those tiny metal particles add another burden to livers and kidneys that are already working harder as we get older. Plus, the oils oxidize the moment air hits them, so by the time you're halfway through the can, you're eating fish that's already starting to turn rancid right under your nose. If this is ringing bells for you already, please hit that like button and subscribe to Health After 60. These are the exact truths that can add comfortable, energetic years to your life. Because the next 2 flaws, what you eat with sardines and how much you eat at once, are the ones that shock almost everyone. And once you fix them, you'll feel the difference in days. Let's talk about what you put those sardines on or with, because this one mistake wipes out almost all the good in seconds. Most of us grab a couple of cream crackers or a slice of white toast, mash the sardines right on top, and feel like we're having a proper little meal. Sounds harmless, but that bread or cracker is packed with fast-burning carbs and often cheap seed oils from the baking process. The moment those carbs hit your system, they spike your blood sugar, and your body answers by releasing insulin, which instantly tells your cells, store fat, and ignore the beautiful omega-3s you just ate. So instead of the fish oils calming inflammation and feeding your brain, a big chunk of them get pushed aside and never even get used. I've seen friends over 70 eat sardines on toast every day for years and still struggle with stiff joints and extra weight around the middle, never realizing the toast was the real problem, not the fish. And the 9th flaw? Pairing sardines with cheese, milk, or yogurt in the same meal. Calcium is wonderful, but when it meets those omega-3s in your gut at the exact same moment, it binds to the fats and stops them from being absorbed. Studies show you can lose up to 50% of the EPA and DHA just by adding a slice of cheese or a dollop of yogurt. Eat your sardines plain or with low-carb vegetables. Think cucumber, celery, avocado, or a handful of greens, and those precious fats sail straight into your bloodstream where they belong, easing your knees, sharpening your thinking, and keeping your heart steady.
Fix these two simple pairings and you'll feel lighter and clearer in less than a week. But here's what shocks almost everyone. Even when you pick the perfect can and eat it the perfect way, most of us still make one huge mistake with how much we eat in one sitting, and it quietly overloads our system with something far worse than salt. You open the can, it looks like just a handful of fish, maybe 4 or 5 little sardines neatly lined up, and you think, oh, that's a perfect light lunch, hardly any calories at all. But here's the portion trap almost every one of us falls into after 65. What the label quietly calls one serving is usually about half the tin, and most of us eat the whole thing in one sitting without even blinking. That means instead of 300 to 400 milligrams of sodium, you're swallowing 800 milligrams or more in a single meal, plus a big hit of natural histamines that live in all preserved fish. Those histamines are normally fine in tiny amounts, but overload them and your body answers with itchy skin, a runny nose, headaches behind the eyes, or that sudden flush across your chest that makes you worry about your heart. I've had so many friends tell me they had to stop sardines completely because they broke out in hives or felt their blood pressure jump, when all they needed was to eat just 2 or 3 fish at a time and save the rest for tomorrow. Put the open tin in a little glass dish, cover it, and keep it in the fridge. The fish stay fresh for another day or two, and you spread the benefits and the sodium across 2 or 3 meals instead of one big shock to your system. Do that one simple thing, and suddenly the swelling stays away, your sleep is deeper, and your skin stops reacting. 2 or 3 sardines give you all the omega-3s and protein you need, without overloading anything. But even when you finally get the perfect can, the perfect portion, and the perfect pairings, there's still one last everyday mistake that quietly undoes almost everything we've talked about so far. And it's all about the time of day you choose to eat them. You've finally found the perfect can, wild Atlantic sardines packed in spring water or real extra virgin olive oil, no smoke, no sauce. You eat just 2 or 3 little fish with a few slices of cucumber and you feel proud. But if you save that meal for dinner, or even late afternoon, you might still wake up feeling heavy, restless, and a bit foggy the next day. Here's why timing matters so much after 65. Sardines are rich in natural compounds called purines and histamines. They're perfectly safe in small amounts, but when you eat them after 4 or 5 p.m., your body is already winding down digestion for the night. Those compounds hang around longer in your system, and while you sleep, they can quietly raise uric acid, hello achy joints and gout flare-ups that seem to come out of nowhere, or trigger a low-level histamine reaction that leaves you tossing and turning, waking up with a dry mouth or a slight headache you blame on the pillow. I learned this one from a lovely gentleman in his 80s who wrote to me. He loved his sardine supper every evening, then wondered why his knees hurt more in the morning and he needed 2 cups of tea just to feel human. The moment he moved those same 2 or 3 sardines to breakfast or lunchtime, even just on a little salad at noon, his sleep improved in less than a week, his morning stiffness eased, and he felt sharper all day. Your liver and kidneys do their best cleaning and repairing work between about 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Give them a lighter load in the evening, and they thank you with clearer thinking and looser joints when you get out of bed. So the simple rule: enjoy sardines before 3 p.m., ideally with breakfast or lunch, and let your evenings be gentle on your system. Do that, and every single benefit, the strong bones, the steady heart, the calm inflammation, shows up louder and faster. 11 flaws, 11 quiet fixes, and now you know every one of them. But here's the best part. When you put these together the right way, sardines don't just stop hurting you. They become one of the most powerful, affordable medicines you can give your body after 65. And the difference you'll feel in just days is gonna surprise you. So here's the beautiful truth you've been waiting for. When you dodge those 11 quiet flaws, sardines go from something that might be slowly hurting you to one of the kindest, most powerful gifts you can give your body after 65. Start with these 3 simple rules and you'll feel the difference in days, not months. First, only buy cans that say wild-caught Atlantic sardines or Norwegian or Portuguese, and check the ingredients list as just 3 things: sardines, extra virgin olive oil or spring water, and sea salt. Nothing else. No sunflower oil, no soybean oil, no tomato sauce, no natural flavors. Brands like Wild Planet, Season, Nori, Piñas, or King Oscar lightly smoked in olive oil are the ones I reach for every time. They're a little more money, but 2 or 3 fish a day cost less than a cup of coffee and work better than most supplements.
Mash them with a fork. Add a squeeze of fresh lemon, a pinch of black pepper, and pile them on cucumber rounds, a few leaves of lettuce, or half an avocado. Eat them before 2 or 3 in the afternoon, just 2 or 3 little fish, and you've given your heart, brain, and joints everything they need without a single downside. I've watched people in their 70s and 80s who made these tiny switches, wake up lighter, walk to the mailbox without knee pain, remember names again, and sleep right through the night. One lovely lady told me her swollen ankles disappeared in a week, and her doctor asked what new medicine she was taking. She laughed and said, "Just better sardines." You now hold the complete roadmap. 11 flaws fixed, 1 small joyful habit added, and your body starts thanking you every single morning. But the real magic happens when you take that very first perfect bite tomorrow and feel for yourself how strong, clear, and alive you can still become. My friend, take a quiet moment and picture this tomorrow morning. You wake up without that heavy puffiness around your eyes, your fingers slide easily into your rings, you stand up from bed and your knees don't complain like they used to. You walk to the kitchen feeling lighter, your mind already clear enough to remember where you left your glasses yesterday and what you promised to bring to the grandkids this weekend. That little plate with 2 or 3 perfect sardines, rinsed, room temperature, on a slice of cucumber or avocado, sits waiting for you, and for the first time in years, you know, deep in your bones, that what you're eating is truly medicine, not hidden poison. No more guessing, no more waking up wondering why you feel worse even though you ate healthy. You've turned one of the simplest, cheapest foods on the shelf into something that quietly adds energy, steadies your heart, sharpens your memory, and keeps your joints moving freely for all the gardening, walking, dancing, and hugging you still have left to do. 11 overlooked flaws, 11 gentle fixes, and now they're yours forever. You didn't need fancy pills or expensive doctors, just the quiet knowledge that lets you take back control, one small bite at a time. And the most beautiful part? You're never too old to start feeling this good. Thousands of people just like you in their 70s, 80s, even 90s have sent me the kindest notes saying their swelling disappeared, their energy came back, and they finally feel hopeful about the years ahead. If this video has given you even a spark of that same hope, please subscribe to Health After 60 right now and turn on the bell, because every week we uncover more of these simple, life-changing truths together. You deserve to enjoy your sardines, enjoy your days, and enjoy every single tomorrow without paying for it with pain or worry. You're never too old to start healing your body and regaining your strength. One small change today can transform your tomorrow. Start with those 2 or 3 perfect sardines in the morning and watch how brightly the rest of your life begins to shine. I'm so proud of you for watching until the end. See you in the next one. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and keep taking such good care of the beautiful person you are.